Do we have anyone who would like to make any public comments? Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to know, we get a report of how much money that the AEDC has on cash hand, where that money is, and what interest rate we're making off that.
I would love to say that I have financials in our packet today, but we do not. The city of Amarillo is behind, way behind. We are looking at a quarterly investment report today, so you will see or hear. If you looked at the agenda packet online, you would have saw what kinds of rates we're getting on our deposits and where those are at. So it is in the quarterly investment report. I'll rip it out and give it to you in the end of the meeting. Yes, sir.
Is Laura Shores and Grace number here?
No, neither. They have a council meetings.
That's right.
That being said, can we have a standard time? I know I serve on a couple of other boards, and we have a set time every other month, whatever that may be. Y'all seem to go, I know it's y'all's convenience, not our convenience. I get that, but it's hard for the public to keep up when you're meeting. I think other people wanna come, but then they're like, it's normally at 11, and then we were talking, no, it's not at 11 tomorrow, it's 2. Then this one's running into the city council meeting. I mean, it's just something for y'all's thought. I think that is a concern for citizens.
Well, we usually do them at night, don't we?
Right, we're really all over the map. I mean, the last year or so, most of them have been at 9 a.m. in the morning. But
We'll try
yeah.
to stick to that or something more consistent.
It's,
Well,
some of it is
consistency
the availability of the room based on the board's availability. So they may choose a date and we can't get the room at 9 a.m. We have to do it at 2. That's why we're doing it at 2 p.m. today.
Well, you know, we talked about videotaping these, maybe moving to City Hall in that nice room that we now have, where you would have a room available to you, and not have this. I know it's convenient to staff because you staff here, but I think the citizens that work can't come to this. Let's videotape it so they can. There is more concern with the AEDC now, so I think public needs to be, I know you're audio taping these, but I'm that teacher that needs to see your faces and read your faces sometimes to know what's going on.
Thank
Sorry.
you for your comment.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name's Mike Fisher. Okay, I'm not familiar with faces. Who's Mr. Brochner? Is that you? Oh, okay, congratulations. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
Hopefully they'll go ahead and vote you in. I think they will. That's what I hear. Looking forward to it. I've got a suggestion for once. Instead of dressing somebody down, I kind of had this epiphany, and I'm hoping I asked you about the question so I wouldn't be wasting your time. The Amarillo Economic Development Corporation is here to create jobs, right? Everybody kind of, I see the nods. We're here to create high-paying jobs, right? And so I think instead of maybe a new incentive plan to not, maybe the land deals, you know, because a lot of that's fallen through, and we had a lot of problems recently with some of the land stuff. I think a great accountability idea is to use their payroll taxes. So you take a copy of their payroll taxes, you're gonna know if they're employed here and how much they're making. And the more they make, you have some sort of ceiling that you work into that and say, we're gonna reimburse you. So then you have your accountability reports and you don't have to wait on those, because a lot of times, I think they drag their feet on that, companies drag their feet. So if you, and then that would incentivize them to have high paying jobs. Because if you're giving them money back based on their payroll taxes, then you knock out two things. You get accountability, local employees, and hopefully high paying jobs. And I think that'd be a decent idea to explore, to see if that would create more success with the high paying jobs. And I know there's a company, I won't name names, but it was a former employee that quit his job being a programmer, went back to school and became an attorney at about 40 years old. He worked at a local company, but they used the loophole that they said, you have to have so many new employees. Well, they just fired all their employees and rehired them, and then they met the requirement. So they didn't really do anything, and then it took all the AEDC money to build a new building. And he's a pretty credible guy, I definitely, but I won't name names. It's not, I think they sold to somebody else, but if anybody wants to know the name of that company, I'd share it with you. But I think the payroll tax idea would close loopholes such as this new employee idea, thing that they used. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wanting to ask, I know, what was it, about a year ago, we had this whole deal with the 750,000 that came up with the range and everything. In April, I got to interview Matt Garner when Laura Street had her press conference over there. And he was doing an interview with News Channel 7 and telling them how important it is for the range to be partnered up with an EDC. And with everything that's gone on with that 750,000 and the unlawful transfer and all that, I want to know, and I think a lot of Amarillo wants to know, is the Amarillo EDC still in bed with the range? Are we still paying them dues? Are we still giving them money? Or have they been cut off?
That's a great question. We prepaid 3 years worth of dues, and as far as when that runs out, I can't tell you off the top of my head. But when that runs out, there is no, our board has not approved any other payment to the range. We don't, in the current year, we've not made a payment to the range.
Will we be
In
making
our
any
budget
more?
for next year, there is nothing
No.
contemplated.
Okay,
for range.
that's good. So we're still in bed with them because that 750 was paid, but everybody here has no intent of kind of continuing relationships with them. Is that kind of what we're saying?
Yeah, I can't speak to everybody's intent. I can just tell you that it is not in the budget for the coming year.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Hey, I've got one more. I made a printout of this, so if anybody wants some further notes. I made 6 of them.
Anybody? Yes, Craig.
I just wanted to say publicly, I want to say thank you to all of you who are serving on the AEDC. I was a prior board member, and I wanted to publicly say I know each and every single one of you. I respect your business acumen. I'm very excited for this new board. One thing I did want to bring to your attention, and Brian was a part of this, we went through a executive search back in my time, and that's when we enlisted the help of Jorgensen. Was that the name of it, Jorgensen?
Yeah, Todd Jorgensen.
And I just want to let you guys know, Brian knows this, but the other 4, I was so utterly impressed with the type of people that he brought to the table. We interviewed, I think, 4 to 5 people, and each one of them stood out, and I was very impressed with all of them. So if you hear this chattering out there from people inside Amarillo telling you where no one wants to come to Amarillo, this is everybody runs from us, and there's no good talent out there. I think Brian would agree with me. We were very pleasantly surprised of real superstars they literally brought to the table. So I hope that I would encourage you guys, when you get to that point, to possibly, when you put out your RFP or RFQ for a firm to help you look for your next president, I would highly encourage you looking again at Todd Jorgensen again. Again, I can't say enough about the type of people they brought to the table, and just know that you're probably going to get a lot of good people apply again. And so I think the AEDC, especially with all 5 of you guys up here, are in really good hands. So thank you again for serving, and know that things aren't dire, things aren't horrible. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think Jorgensen merged, didn't they, with the?
They did. They merged with the PACE group. And so it's now Jorgensen Pace, and they're the biggest player in this space, basically. We'll talk about that more.
Just real quick, who did y'all end up hiring when you were on?
Barry Albrock, Brock,
All right.
yeah.
Will you read the executive session language?
Yes, sir. Discussion regarding commercial or financial information received from a business prospect and or to deliberate the offer of financial or other incentive to a business prospect. Project 250502, energy and data, and project 250705, workforce. We are now in executive session.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Craig.
That's our cue.
From my perspective, there's no need to change those unless the feeling on the board is something other than that. So, today we really just need to elect the chairman, and Deepak will be right here.
I will open the floor for nomination for chairman. Board members has nominated
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate Elliot.
Okay, Deepak, you need to ask for a second.
Do we have nominated, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Board members nominated Elliot McKinney. So we have motion and second. So all those favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Motion pass, Eric, 5-0 vote. Congratulations.
Or condolences.
Great shoes or?
And now we'll turn the meeting over to Mr. McKinney, chairman.
Alright, let's see, so item number 5, approval of minutes from our July 15th board meeting. That'll be under behind tab number 5.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion to approve and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All, any opposed? None opposed. I guess y'all will give him the.
Yes, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Thankfully.
All right, item number 6 on our agenda, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on the approval of the operating year 25 and 26 Amarillo EDC budget. Doug, you wanna walk us through the highlights of the budget, please?
Yes, sir. All right, under tab 6 in your board packet, this format is the City of Amarillo format. We had to go away from our own format because city council members wanted it in the same format as the other city departments. I totally get that. It makes it consistent. So what you're seeing here is 21 actual, 22 actual, 23 actual, the 24 budget, and then the 25-26 request. So I'm gonna focus on the request. So in our operations budget, which is the first page, we anticipate $3.24 million worth of sales tax revenue into our operations budget. That is 12% of the total tax that we receive under the half-cent sales tax. The other 88% of that tax goes into our projects budget. We'll talk about that number here in a minute, but operation-wise, 3.24. We're anticipating about $210,000 worth of interest income. Unfortunately, interest rates continue to go down, so that number is going to shrink. Then we get into the expenditure portion of our budget. The loaded salaries, 1.317500, that's salaries and benefits. 946,300 just in salaries, and then the remainder in benefits. So our overhead rate is about 39%, basically, of our salary rate.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So like the budgeted salary amount anticipates,
A number of things.
new hire.
Yeah, so,
Potentially,
yeah, what
things of that
it,
sort.
what it does anticipate is us paying out our former president and CEO according to that contract. It anticipates a new president and CEO, budgeted at 250. It anticipates our current staff, 6 of us, plus a vacant position that we have, that is under Holly, that does business recruitment. So, those are the positions that are contemplated in that salary number.
Business recruitment, what's that? Is that somebody out trying to get people to come here, is that what you're doing?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that the job of the president too? I mean, is he the big guy out front trying to do this stuff?
Well, it depends on who the president is and what he's been tasked to do, so.
But right now, Holly's, she can hire someone else to help her, basically, or something.
We're vacant a position, we're down a person.
Was it filled at one time?
It was, he quit and is now the executive director of the Canyon EDC.
Is that position currently posted and advertised?
We have not posted it and advertised it. We are looking, but we have not posted it and advertised it.
Just a point of clarification. In an email, you had the new president CEO budgeted at 240, but you said 250.
Yeah, that was,
Clarification.
yeah, I was doing that when I was out of town,
Okay,
and
so
I
it's
said
250.
that, yeah.
Okay, that's all right, no problem.
And what's left in this budget that we're paying, Mr. Carter?
Approximately $125,000.
This 2025, is that right?
Yes.
I mean, the rest of it, okay.
In-
Is that- does
in
anything go-
2025.
does anything go beyond that, or is it over at that point?
No, it's over at that point.
I'm just curious about this car allowance. Does everybody get a car allowance, or how does that work?
No, there's only 2 of us that have received car allowances, and that was Kevin Carter and myself. My car allowance is $4,800 a year. Kevin's was $12,400 a year. I'm gonna pick back up. General supplies, you'll see that total at 20,000. We've got fuel and oil for 2,000. Contractual services, that's postage, dues, subscriptions, professional fees. Professional fees is where I'm gonna stop. You'll see that last year we had budgeted $100,000. Of that $100,000, we've spent $97,000 so far this year. The reason it's gone up to $160,000 in our current budget request is we are going to have to pay a search firm. So, that is the difference between last year's number and this year's number. That additional $60,000 we're budgeting for the search firm.
What are dues? Is that just being part of different?
Yes, sir.
associations?
Yeah. We have professional associations and trade groups that we're members of. Then to go on, the next.
What is fiscalization fee?
That is the amount that $75,000 is the amount we pay the city of Amarillo for them to be our fiscal agent.
Okay.
That's exactly what that is.
What about this auto repair and maintenance for 18,000?
Yeah, that's our, for us, that's a catch-all for auto, so that's our payment on our expedition. We have one company vehicle. So we have a 0% financing deal with Ford, so we're paying off the expedition. And, then it's required, maintenance and repair, those kind of things. If we have to have tires.
So that 18's paying on
Yes, sir.
The company car, not y'all's.
Yeah, company car. And we do have a Ford Expedition as our company vehicle. As many of you have been in it, nice.
Yeah.
Somebody take us riding.
We're not all those guys that are gonna move here to be able to ride in style.
That's right, yeah.
rental land and buildings, is that like your office space here?
It is,
So we're spending 97 a year being here?
that's correct.
Wow. And we got an empty city hall?
That city hall wasn't built when we moved into this office space.
I know that, I was just thinking maybe future stuff.
Yeah, so $170,000 in rental, that includes that rental, other equipment, that $10,000 is copiers and, some office equipment that we lease.
Communication, is that phone?
That is, phones, our internet here at the office, but primarily those two things, internet cost and, our cell
So
phones.
does everybody get a cell phone, all the staff?
Yes, everybody has one.
And that's in this total.
It is, yes, sir. Travel, that's not related to, our business development program, so that's professional development travel. We have a little mileage, local expenses, and then insurance is the other big one. We do insure all of our property, our vehicle, and carry general liability on all of our land that we own, totaling approximately 1,800 acres, so.
Are those, the insurance policies, are they bought with the city, under the city's?
New, city is self-insured.
So we buy the,
we
bid and
buy,
that
yes,
separately? What's the renewal dates on those?
October 10th.
Who do we buy that through?
We're currently with NCW.
MCW?
NCW, yeah, Neely, Craig and
Oh,
Walton.
they got Craig Wall.
Yes, sir, local company. Okay, total expenditures, $1.84 million. All the business development part of that, of our budget is broken out on the next page. Last year, our budget was $800,000. We've reduced that to $700,000 this year. There is significant detail regarding the marketing and business development budget on the very last page of item 6, which breaks down all of that per category. So this marketing budget's marketing, support, content development, collateral materials, business and retention, workforce, marketing, technology and software, business development, and local market development. So those are the categories associated with the budget, and there's detail, like I said, on that final page. Questions?
Is it, yeah, yes, is the calendar set for the period that this budget comes, 25 and 26?
The calendar is, set typically, we have a plan of work that we go through. These are the events that we're planning to attend, and so this plan of work is then translated into that business development budget.
This, when I asked you about the website stuff, you told me Griffin Link was about $1,000 a month. What's this $100,000 earmark for?
Yeah, so I also said that we were anticipating extending our relationship with them. We're under a contract at $6,000 a month going forward, because we're not replacing our marketing person. So one of the staff people has dropped, they left of their own accord, but instead of replacing them, we are extending our relationship with our marketing firm to provide those services for us. So luckily enough, we can farm it out for cheaper than it costs to have the employee. And so we intend to do that. And that's what that number encompasses. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say then, on that train of thought, that the 946 in salaries and wages would have gone down had it not been for the other $125,000 Kevin?
That's, oh,
Covered
yeah,
that?
yeah, for sure. No, by dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
It's gone down $125,000.
Yeah.
And that unfilled position underneath Holly is gonna go to Griffin Link? Is that what you're saying?
No, we had another position that we had a staff person for, and she left. And we've replaced her with a contractor. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Next page in the budget, it's that TPRDC. This is really just a pass-through for AEDC, where we have a contract between the two entities. It's a $237,000 contract. Basically pays 30% of my salary currently, or before I became interim. It then moved to 15%, but I digress because that's just gonna get complicated. But generally speaking, they pay 30% of my salary and 100% of one of our other employees. So under this contract, I charge 30% of my time to this and 70% of my time to AEDC. And then there's some other expenses associated with carrying out that plan of work. And so it totals $237,000. But no out-of-pocket money for AEDC, it just runs through the entity. And it gets reimbursed by Texas Panhandle Regional Development Corporation. Yeah, go back 3 pages, Randy. Yeah, the next page after that one. Yeah, there you go.
TPRDC.
There you go. Anyway, so this is all reimbursed by the other entity. But put it in there, full disclosure, is how it works.
And remind me, is this in our standard, in our monthly financials, is this reported on separately as a department, or is it rolled into?
It does have its own.
Like this is, to me, a separate financial statement.
Yeah,
And is
it is
I don't
not a
recall.
separate financial statement. I think it's a line item on the financial
So like
statement.
netted or something?
Yeah. Okay, finally, the last 2 pages are AEDC projects, that's 91200. So you'll see that 88% of our projected income being 23,760,000 will be the income. We do have a couple of buildings that we rent, that totals $555,000 a year. And then interest income, we're projecting conservatively at $2.4 million. That's total income, $26,715,000. And then in the project budget, there's a number of things that we pay out of the project budget. So we have to have repair and maintenance on both buildings or improvements and land. That totals $60,000 in our budget. We have project utilities along with legal, and then a number of organizations that we support out of the project fund. That all totals $563,000. And then bond interest payments for next year are anticipated to be $692,000. And then we've got the company projects. So this whole section is our best guess at what our payments to our client companies will be that have exceeded their expectations through job creation grants, those types of things. That total is $14,829,000. And then
Looking back up here, this Texas Economic Development Corporation, we're paying them a fee of $25,000 a year.
that's correct.
What do they do for us?
That is the governor's economic development organization, so that is our cost to participate with that group. And so they do trade missions, they do industry trade shows, they do site selector events. It's our,
We benefit from it.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
It
So the opportunity to market our community with the governor of the state of Texas is typically a big deal. And so those opportunities are only afforded to those that pay the price of entry.
Yeah, so said another way, it's not mandatory, but it is mandatory.
It is not mandatory, no. Y'all could direct us to exit our membership and our participation with that group, and we would strike it from the budget. Do I think that's a good idea? No. That's why it's in the
Did
budget.
they write, or were they the bunch that wrote a negative letter about getting rid of
No,
Carter
sir,
and
that's
Ford?
no, that's not,
That's not them?
that's not them.
Okay.
That is not them.
Can I ask a couple of additional, portion of claims?
Yep, that is a City of Amarillo membership that we pay. Why? I've been here 15 years and I can't tell you why.
Why we want to get rid of it? What do we get for it? I mean,
The Ports of Plains is the group that promoted the
new highway.
interstate.
It's a great program. They're gonna designate an interstate through this part of West Texas. Now, that's not the question. The question is, why are we paying City of Amarillo's membership dues? And I do not know the answer to that. That happened before even I came here. So we have just continued it over time. Now, the program's a great program. I mean, they've made real success in the last 2 years in designations of getting this thing to be an interstate. And will it benefit our community? Absolutely it will. But that wasn't the question. The question is, why are we paying?
$115,000.
A bunch.
Over 10?
20 years.
$2 million, $2.5 million.
Randall County pays it too, but not that amount.
No, it's based on population. So they still pay a pretty good chunk.
It's been an organization for over 30 years and still haven't gotten it done. They're actually a lobbying group is actually there.
can we earmark that and maybe ask the city why we're paying it, or?
Would you mind asking?
Hey, I'm here to do what y'all tell me to do.
Just take it out. Just take it out.
we can certainly.
Or maybe we take it out and see what the city does. I don't know.
Well, we probably just can't drop out of the.
Okay, yeah, do we really wanna pick a fight with city council? I don't know, that's up to y'all. I would say no.
I wish we had more information on how it got planted. I mean, I get it, it's economic development, so maybe we're just barking up the wrong tree, but our community needs to belong to it, I would assume, so.
I would think, I mean, the city pays it or AEDC pays it, I mean, it's something that's still.
And we're,
ownership with.
Still tax dollar.
and we're all on the same team,
Yep, sure.
so, I just don't, you asked me a question about why we pay it, and I just don't know the
Oh,
answer.
it wasn't really, my question wasn't why are we paying it, my question, that came after you said what you said. My question was more, what's the purpose of it, how long we've been paying it, what value, I get the value of the Ports and Plains coming through here, that's not a question, I was just curious.
Oh, that's gonna happen anyway.
This organization based on Austin,
Say that again?
based on Austin, Texas. Where they are.
He's
What is
asking
the organization of,
Oh, no, they're, yeah, a couple of them are in Austin, one of them's a regional group that just covers the 67 counties of the Texas Panhandle and South Plains. Ports to Plains, of course, covers, the corridor between kind of Del Rio and Canada.
If we didn't pay it and the city would, there's a possibility the city says, we don't want to do this, don't want to do it, or it's just something that's gonna happen.
I think it's gonna happen one way or the other, would be my guess. We're the second largest city on the Ports to Plains corridor.
So
So,
already a third of the way through it, through Amarillo, so. Not changing.
In Texas?
no,
In total. So it avoids Denver?
it does.
Oh, okay.
It avoids Denver?
Uh-huh.
I thought it went through Route 25.
I don't think so.
I think maybe at least worth, just looking into what is it, organization, I mean, maybe they're laying down infrastructure. We
Who's
have no
holding them
idea.
accountable to the expenditures they're getting from revenue?
Yeah, the mayor
getting from
is,
everybody.
the mayor is the board member that represents the city of Amarillo, or at least he was, I'm not sure. We haven't talked about it in a long time, but he was representing our interest on that board.
Okay.
Guys, I mean, from what I remember of before, it's all the cities, communities are all members of the organization, and they're all participating in directing that organization as to what they do, and they, recently had a lot of success. I
They
mean,
have.
I mean, really, for the first time ever, their Congress has approved a route that goes all the way to South Texas through to, Colorado, and it's, for the transportation system, it's a big deal. I mean, it's, maybe not the same money pipeline into our community that I-40 is, but it could be very similar. From the truck transportation
Well, the
side.
states allocate money to build all those new freeways and all that money I'm just curious what this 115, is it going to just lobbyists, or is it going our piece of, the asphalt they're putting in? I was curious what.
Yeah, so
Well, do we
what
get
it's
for-
spent on is lobbyists, their staff people, they put on conferences, they go to DC, to meet with legislators. I mean, there's a number of things that they do. They probably hold 4 events a year, to promote the development of this additional interstate corridor.
Well, let's don't get bogged down, let's
Yeah.
get moving.
All right, so, company, that's where I was, company projects, we anticipate a little over $14 million going out next year. Enterprise challenge, that's $580,000. We've got, $150,000 for workforce grants, we've got, and that, which is what we talked about, or what we will be talking about shortly. Tiers 3 infrastructure is one of the projects that's been approved. I expect that we'll spend $5.5 million of our $7.57 million this year. And just other projects that have been approved and are being paid out over time. Total there is $23,983 of total expenditures out of the project budget. That leaves us making about $2.7 million this year under that line item.
What is that northeast interceptor?
The city council asked us to participate in the cost of building the northeast interceptor. It is a gravity sewer line that transverses from northeast 24th over in Centerport Business Park, where it leaves there and takes sewage, gravity fed, all the way to the River Road Plain.
I had one question on the quarter bores. I understand why we're paying that. Is that the end of it, or are they leaving after that, or we keep paying, will they stay?
Yeah, so our deal with them, is for 10 years at $300,000 a year.
Okay.
So it's a $3 million project, and we're about halfway through.
Okay.
And then they'll leave.
I do not expect that they are going to leave.
I hope not.
The lady that was
Pushing it.
that,
Has died.
Ann Marion has passed away.
Yeah.
And Doug and I met with their board not long ago, and they're investing in the museums. I think they're here. That wave of trying to leave with this EDC deal, I think it really did benefit them. So they report annually for all of these jobs. So I think they're here to stay and invest and grow what they do have.
That's good news.
They know Amarillo is the right place.
So are we voting
Any
on
other-
this budget today?
Yes, sir, we are.
And we have any other questions? Just kind of, on the top line, we have budget numbers, but it's all predicated on sales tax collections. I mean, it's not a hard commitment by the city or anybody that.
It is. Our budget is a hard commitment.
On the top line?
Well, on the revenue side, it has no bearing, but we have plenty in reserves in this fund for that level of expenditure. So the expenditures is really what we're approving today. The budget is a revenue number that is based on our historical sales tax growth.
We have a motion to approve the 25-26 budget.
I move with her budget.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? Budget passes. All right, so agenda item number 7, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on project number 25-07-05, the Texas Workforce Commission High Demand Job Training Grant Matching Program will assist the 5 local school districts with job training needs with $850,000 investment. Doug, can you walk us through how this grant works?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a Texas Workforce Commission High Demand Job Training Grant, and it is intended to assist local school districts with their vocational programs so that we're educating high school students in and giving them the opportunity for vocational education to build our workforce. So this particular grant is encompassing all 5 local school districts that are inside the city limits, or a portion of them is inside the city limits. And each of those school districts have been contacted and had discussed their needs in their vocational programs. So this financial agreement that you're looking at in your packet is the grant application to achieve $150,000 match of our investment by the Texas Workforce Commission. So these, our 150 and the Texas Workforce Commission's 150 will allow these 5 school districts to split $300,000 to buy vocational equipment for their career and technical education programs. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I
Any
approve,
questions? No questions?
I approve agenda item number 7.
We have a second?
No, did you,
Yeah, I
You made the motion.
He's making a motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Deepak's making a
Second.
motion. Randy is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on amendment number 2 to the purchase and sale agreement by and between the Amarillo Economic Development Corporation and Injuries Enterprises LLC.
Holly, would you pull up a map for me, please, ma'am? Okay, and under tab number 8 in your packet is the amendment number 2. Basically, we entered into an agreement, a purchase sale agreement in July of 24 with Injuries Express. They are planning to build a 100,000 square foot cold storage facility in Centerport Business Park. Holly's about to scroll in right there by SSI Foods. That lot that is directly east of SSI is 19.96 acres. And so that is the piece of property that we're referring to. The purchase sale agreements for $550,000, and Injuries can get a portion of that rebated to him if he builds within 2 years and if he expends $10 million or more. And so this is the project that we're talking about, 100,000 square foot cold storage facility on that 19.96 acreage. So during the process of our agreement with him, we committed to extending Axiom Drive and the water and sewer associated with it 75 feet. Holly's dramatically making that look longer than 75 feet, but let's talk about, a quarter of an inch over there of additional roadway, which will allow the business to have access from Axiom. Axiom does cross his property, but not enough for truck traffic. And so when we made this deal with him, we had promised him that we would extend the street and those utilities 75 feet. So this amendment codifies that promise because it wasn't in the first one. We anticipate, my engineer is telling me his opinion of probable cost is right at $100,000 to extend the roadway and move the water and sewer that far.
I'm sorry, what was that number again?
Approximately $100,000.
What's the 550,000?
That's the purchase price that Mr. Injuries is paying us for the piece of property. So we're selling him the property, and then we're promising to extend the road and utilities by 75 feet.
Is he you get any tax rebates or anything? You don't-
No tax abatement is in this project.
What's our basis on that property?
It's about $4,000 an acre, so we've got about $80,000 in it.
80,000?
Yes, sir.
We're selling it for 500.
Yes, sir.
Need to hire you.
Yeah. We
So-
try to make investments that pay off. We are gonna spend a little bit of money on it.
Yeah, well, $180,000 to get by, it's pretty good. But we get a clawback if he doesn't.
Yeah,
perform.
so part of the agreement is that he has to, have all his plans approved and permit, a year from August 1st. Even though I talked to his contractor yesterday and they're 90% done, the plans are, they're about to submit them to the city. And then he's got another 12 months to finish constructing it.
And if not, we get the land back.
If he doesn't ever start constructing it, and within 12 months, we have a repurchase agreement, and it's part of this.
Land is closed, right? Already purchased.
He has not purchased it from us yet. No.
And we repurchase it for what?
We would repurchase it only for what we paid for it, and we are not required to repurchase, that's our choice.
That was gonna be the second question.
Is 550 market value? I don't know what stuff out in that area, is it?
Yeah, it's probably very close.
50,000 acres. 55,000 acres.
You said it's 19 acres?
19, well, it's really 20, ultimately.
25,000 acres.
Yeah, 25,000 an acre, that's right.
Than 50 cents square feet.
Do you have any other questions?
Less than 50 cents square feet, 44 cents square feet.
Any other questions on this? Number 8?
More protected on the backside.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion, do we have a motion to
I'll
approve?
make a motion to approve.
Second.
Maybe second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, agenda item number 9, discuss the Amarillo Economic Development Corporation strategic plan prepared by Next Move Group LLC.
Yes, sir. So that is your second binder. These you get to take home with you. So the economic development strategic plan, sorry. The mayor asked us to have a strategic plan done, back in July of '24. And, we started that process almost immediately. The consultant was in town a number of times, through the fall. And, started working on developing this strategic plan for us. Things kind of got sideways here at our organization, and we put that strategic plan on hold for a period of time. Ultimately, Mr. Carter exited in late January, and frankly, I forgot about this strategic plan for a couple of months before I called him up and got it going again. So this is the end result of that. Chuck Sexton is the founder and CEO of Strategic Location Advisors, and he is going to join us by Zoom. At the time, he was part of the Next Move Group LLC. He has since exited and has hung out his own shingle. And Chuck was very easy to work with and did a nice job of really visiting our community and talking to people. And the result is this strategic plan. So, yeah, we're ready.
Hey Chuck, can you hear me?
Yeah.
the TV volume. Will the TV volume last?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, oddly, I had two windows open.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so you're only seeing me, but I'm gonna turn you to our board if you can see them, but you are up on our TV, so everyone can see you.
Great, fantastic. I'm in my hotel room at the Southern Economic Development Council's annual conference right now here in Oklahoma City, so.
Okay, so Doug did a little intro of the history of this plan and everything like that, so the room is yours to kind of take off. They all have the plan in front of them as well.
Okay, great. Well, it's good to see everyone. Appreciate getting the time to talk through what we did for AEDC. This was my Next Move group. And so as everyone knows, I'm no longer with Next Move group. I have my own firm, Strategic Location Advisors today. But I wanted to spend some time going over this with you all and happy to answer any questions. I'm gonna go through this briefly. When this plan was put together, as really sort of a strategic plan like, looking at AEDC as an organization, looking at Amarillo as a community. And, you know, one of the things that really stood out to me, and to our team, was how professional, AEDC staff is. We talked about that within the executive summary, the opening of this document. So look, we work with communities all over the United States, not just doing these plans or strategic services, we also do site selection, quite a bit across the United States for communities. And, you know, the level of professionalism is really critical, for communities that have, within their staff as an EDC, and you all should be proud to have that, there in Amarillo. One of the things that we also want to do as part of this is look at strategic advantages that the community has. Those are listed and highlighted, throughout that document. You can see, you know, Amarillo is a really nice town. I think it's overlooked a lot, by both the industry and some of my colleagues and peers, that are in site selection. You will have a lot of strategic advantages, not just logistically, but as a community. The one that stands out the most is Amtech, which is talked about within this plan, CTE program there. We actually continue to use it as a shining
to do to get to the front of these aerospace people, this big convention he's talking about?
Yeah, so it's just not in our program of work currently to, travel to the Paris Air Show. There's a number of very large air shows.
In the US?
There's some in the US, but the biggest one, the behemoth is the Paris Air Show. And it is unlike any other, probably.
What's the hope? Why would you not want to? Besides optics?
Optics. We haven't had, in the last, we've traveled internationally to trade shows and trade missions prior to now. With what's occurred with our organization over the last year, we didn't feel comfortable writing that into our plan of work currently. We would if we were given guidance to do so. We don't know how much public support there would be for that, or how much council support there may be for that. So we've taken a more conservative route with our plan of work currently. And we're down 3 people also.
I can certainly understand that, but if our strategic plan or direction is to really focus on aerospace, we could probably make a case for doing what's right, even though, I mean, it's Paris, it's not the moon.
Right.
We're only, it takes a little longer to get there, but it's not that big a deal. I don't mean to downplay, overseas travel, but
Right.
it's not that big a deal.
Aerospace, military, I mean, that's a big direction. We've got, like you said, we got a good airport, good runway, we got a lot of land around.
Longest runway.
We got Bell Helicopter, we got all these guys painting planes, it just seems like a natural fit.
It certainly is.
I will add, think about it from a security clearance standpoint, so as you go out and start recruiting, and you have the option to get some of these defense companies in, you already have the ability to showcase that people within your community can get high-level security clearance because Mantex is there, and so that's just another strategic advantage to sell to some of these defense companies that are gonna continue growing, especially with new technologies.
Yeah. And we're in talks with some defense contractors about projects. We very recently had a conversation with Bell about marketing with them to the team that will be building the MB-75. And so we're certainly down that road. Just Paris Air Show is not on our plan of work currently. And this year, it's not.
It's every other year.
It's every other
So,
year. It's Farnborough this year.
Chuck Point can speak to the prep, and so I think, like a snowball effect, this has been coming, so whatever's been going on with us just sort of paused it, but this strategic plan, you're the first board to see it. I don't know when the last one was done, but it's been a minute. The industries have changed, our conversations have changed, so a lot has changed to get us here. So I think that's the direction we want to hear from you, what you want us doing, what you don't want us doing. I think budgeting in this is helpful to just, what do you and the community want from us in the next 5, 10, 20 years?
Is the Texas Economic Development Corp, are they pretty involved with Paris Air Show? Is that?
The governor's office goes.
Yeah. And we could go with them, which makes it a much more seamless transition.
It would seem that you wanna figure out some way to coordinate with the governor's office and Bell to justify some expenditure.
Yeah.
You want a position better than most communities having that relationship with Bell Textron, where they can assist you with any needs with some of their supplier network or like companies that they wouldn't mind having in any community. And then of course with Texas, obviously having their large booth there, you have a meeting space and be able to
is this air show? Has it already happened? Or is it?
It'll be in 2 years.
Yeah, it's in 2 years.
2 years?
I believe July or August, was it just in June or July, Chuck?
Yep, it's typically in July, every 2 years in Paris. The Farnborough Air Show is in the opposite year, so next year Farnborough, will have, that is one, it still has decision makers, but it's on the last one. So most bang for your buck is the Paris Air Show, because so many, companies and executives are at that one.
Anyway, so,
Personally, I think it shouldn't be off the table from an option standpoint. I would recommend that we at least, and to maybe piggyback on what Brian said, create some kind of alliance with the governor's economic development team, Bell Helicopter, and maybe together we can, we've got 2 years to plan.
Yeah,
We don't
and
have to make a decision today.
No.
But I would
Yeah.
recommend, my personal recommendation, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, please go forward with that, because if that's what our strategic plan is includes aerospace, which it should, then why in the world would we worry about the optics of it when we can justify it and explain it and hopefully make it clear to the taxpayers why we're doing this and what it means to the community? I'm not saying let's approve it and do it, but I'm saying let's put it on the table and let's work towards that.
Absolutely,
Let's work towards
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, and so today, we're not here to thrash out the minutia of what's in this. We wanted Chuck to give you all an overview, to get you a good feel for what's in the plan. And then over the course of time, we'll be able to then set our program of work that matches y'all's desires along with whatever budgetary availability we have. So it's not that our program of work is ever set in stone. If y'all decided that we needed to go to Farnborough in this next year, we could very easily do that. But today was just really just to give you the basics and an overview and let you digest this strategic plan.
Does Bell go to this Farnborough, or did they go to that one?
Oh, yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
And is it gonna be possible to coattail with those guys? Do you have a good enough relationship?
Oh,
to give them
yeah,
enough
with
money?
the, like, Texas EDC, the governor's, recruiting arm, we're members, we're participants with them. And so, yes, we would have the opportunity to go and participate. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, we can make that happen.
And with Bell, we've had those conversations for probably 3 years, and it's been a not yet, like, they weren't at that place to have those conversations, and so, I mean, I promised you, we talk to them weekly, and it's time, so we're having those conversations with them specifically for Bell, but, just overarching,
Yeah.
I think, as long as Doug's been here, like, getting a pulse from the board, like, where do we wanna buy land? All these layers and levels of our direction, I think would echo the strategic plan and the direction the board gives us, so where are we headed and how do we then implement that?
So, for example, we hosted a Team Valor meeting. As soon as the demonstrator was built, the suppliers that participated with Bell in building the demonstrator, the aircraft that flew all the hours, that was the part of the competition for FLRAA. We hosted them for dinner. I got to speak to all of those companies. Now it turns out that, you know, some of those suppliers are still not on the MB-75. Those things change over time, but we've been working those angles for years and will continue to. This is just another step in the right direction by being able to participate in things that our competition is participating in and having an opportunity to get in front of those decision makers.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back down to really being aggressive, and rural communities try to be as aggressive as possible. Amarillo is not a rural community, but that doesn't mean you all can't be aggressive too. And so your competitors are gonna be out there doing the same thing. If you look within the strategic plan, some of the things that we outlined, especially the A&D portions, is along with the fact that you should be active participants of the Paris Air Show and have a good marketing program ready to go for that, for those partnerships that you've been talking about. But having a dedicated aerospace industrial park on site at the airport, again, that's what your competitors are doing. We even put in there that education is happening with someone you would probably compete with pretty closely, which is Wichita, Kansas. So we even talk about Wichita State University having their advanced manufacturing training center on site at their airport with hangar space for the FAA certified programs that they do. So just, we wanna make sure you saw what your close competition is doing, so that as you all prepare for this, there's opportunity for Amarillo to start doing things even better than some of them are before you go to that recruitment area.
So can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Can I ask you a quick question on your strategic recommendation number 2? Creating an aggressive population attraction program. Where would, we have a huge deficit in our community on medical professionals. I mean, to the tune of, there's 29 different particular studies done on types of medical professionals. And we're probably deficit 160 doctors in this community. Was that part or partial to any of y'all's study on when you're talking about creating aggressive population attraction programs? Because we have a great medical community that services 650,000 population up to Oklahoma and New Mexico. However, we are deficit just in our area, close to 200 types of doctors in certain, we're deficit 76, was the number on this study, 76 just, family practitioners. And that seems to me to be a quality of life issue or a problem in economic development when we talk about all these things. Is that something that has any merit to be part of our strategic plan?
Yeah, I want you all to treat this plan as a living, breathing document. So as you all have discussions just like this and say, exactly what you just brought up, that's something to fold in as a tactical point within that strategy. And look, this is not something that's new for other communities either. Okay, so medical professionals are lacking in a lot of communities around the United States. And I'll give you some examples. So there's a few communities that we work with in South Carolina. And one of the things that they're looking to do right now is they're building, not just medical professionals, by the way, but teachers as well. So they're building housing specific for medical professionals and teachers that is limited to just those two groups to help attract them into the community at a lower cost. So it's lower cost than whatever the market looks like right now. Some of them are single family homes, some of them are really nice, 3-bedroom apartment style living, but it makes it easier to attract those individuals, those professionals into the community to serve that need. Because you're right, that's a big problem. And part of that comes back to marketing and advertising, really having a good campaign around that, where you can attract those people into Amarillo. And I don't know, Doug, do you all have a case for AI or any of those retail strategies or what's the Buxton software? Do you all use any of that internally as a team?
We do not.
So I will tell you, one of the ways that we have recommended a community try to attract the right people is the Buxton study or any retail that you do will give you a breakdown, a profile of people who live and love an Amarillo type city. And we then tell you that you can use that data to find those people in other areas of the country that do not have a quality of life as nice as yours. And you start
interesting idea.
Chuck, a quick question. I think, you know, for the most part, everybody here would be agreeing on the strategic recommendations. Would you have any suggestion or recommendation of recruiting or investing in agriculture? We have a strong agricultural community and resources, but I didn't notice, granted, I haven't studied your proposal. Is that an area we would spend some time and resources?
I mean, if you feel that that's something that could be a strong growth market for you, certainly. But one of the things that we try to make sure that communities recognize is that agriculture kind of does its own thing. You have good education within your community, and you have a lot of assets within the footprint of the region for agriculture, but it's gonna continue to grow on its own. The areas where we see an EDC be able to impact growth for a community are those industries that are non-traditional. So agriculture, we consider a traditional industry that does have growth, that does have pay. But you have to be careful with some of that, because we have seen communities get really aggressive in agriculture and ag tech, and they start trying to assist and even put money into startup firms that are non-proven. And we want you to be very careful around that type of business. Because your proven industries, your proven businesses are gonna make those investments and do the things that they need to do in agriculture. You should be open to them. They should have policies that allow for their growth and assist with it, but it's not one that I would recommend as being a strong target. When it comes to strong targets for the EDC, my opinion is that it needs to be on those growth industries like A&D that are gonna continue to have future development, R&D needs, and be going with higher paying jobs that are highly skilled, that increase tax revenue to the community when you attract them.
Gotcha, thank you.
I know, you touched on in the report, I think I saw a little bit on the veterinary sciences and biopharma. Is there opportunity there that we should be looking at, or does that fit in the category that's gonna happen and we should just assist where we can?
I think you assist where you can, but you need to recognize that you have some strategic advantages between Amarillo that other communities don't. So being cognizant of that, and the team making sure that they are promoting those assets to those especially the biopharma side, more than anything else. Because it's another industry that's gonna continue to add higher wages, higher tech capabilities going forward, and there's gonna be growth in that market.
So not any, you didn't have any specific recommendations or see that as a strategic, part of the strategic plan necessarily?
No, not necessarily part of the strategic plan, just making sure that the team is aware that it's a strategic advantage that other communities that don't have as they move forward.
Would you put energy in that same category of it's just gonna grow organically? I mean, it's, you know, we've had quite a change in the last 6 months. Pardon?
Yeah, so, we talked a lot about energy this week, and I don't know if you all have seen some of the announcements that have occurred recently. There are some things I know more about that I don't think are public yet, but on the energy side of things, nuclear is gonna be a big growth market, okay? So uranium enrichment is gonna be critical going forward. I know a community where there's 3 uranium enrichment announcements in recent years. As a matter of fact, I am connecting their local school districts, and that community is the only one in the state with AMTech for federal program for the Department
done this study and maybe in the last 2 months, a project has been announced in our area and it is applying for 4 nuclear reactors. It's gonna be Pantex's neighbor. So everything you just said is happening here.
That surprised me. And I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna keep happening. So, it wouldn't, and this, honestly, some of this stuff has changed since we even finished this study months and months ago.
Yeah.
So, it is important for the EDC and the community itself to be looking at where do we want this to go so that it doesn't go somewhere we don't want it to go. So being cognizant of the fact that you're gonna have people that are gonna get on there, you might wanna go ahead and sort of get ahead of that curve and make sure that you're identifying properties, appropriate properties within the region, within your, I guess, what you can control of where that might go.
Chuck, we really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I had that meeting at 3:45. I will be a little late to it, but if you'll have any more questions, please holler at me. Can't wait to get to Amarillo again. Hopefully I'll be out there again soon.
Okay, thanks again.
Thanks, Chuck.
Maybe we should bring it up here and laugh at John.
So we're gonna vote today on the first trip and start buying hands? I already get orders, we're set a stone French.
Border Street.
Yeah, that wouldn't draw any ire at all. Okay, so that was all just informational. We wanted to get the strategic plans, in y'all's hands, so that you could be reviewing it. We wanted Chuck to join us to give us a little overview. But basically, he comes back and does target industry analysis in here. There's 4 strategic recommendations, all good stuff. Our community has a lot to offer. I agree with him wholeheartedly. So there's
I'm a
opportunity.
huge proponent of strategic plans. I mean, if you don't have a plan, what is that?
Yeah.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Well, we need.
So I think this is a great starting place, and I think it ought to breathe for a long time.
Yeah.
Do we get to keep this?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the second binder is yours to take home today so that you can review it at your leisure.
And I think you may or may not already have a digital version.
They do.
Out in the
Yeah, we do.
packet.
Yeah, we did.
But there should be live links, some videos, some references, if that's.
Okay, great. So moving on to item number 10, discuss, consider and take appropriate action on the search process to secure permanent president and CEO replacement. So Doug, what do we have?
Yeah, so in your packet, and under tab 10, the first document is 3 pages of potential RFP recipients. Basically, a little narrative about each one as it relates to what those search firms have done, can do, etc. Kind of the last page of this is some Google results that we found doing some research, and then the last 5 are the big 5. Those are just the world's largest kind of search firms across all industries, but not necessarily with an economic development bent. So, the first 5 firms on those 3 pages are the players in the economic development world as far as we're aware. And then, of course, there is some of these others that may dabble in economic development, but they do kind of CEO president searches for Fortune 100 companies, that kind of thing. So that's what that is. Then we get into the actual actual RFP. Hopefully y'all have a chance to review that. But basically, this is the document that we would typically send out to the firms that you instruct us to. And it gives those firms a very black and white blueprint on how to respond to our organization as it relates to what we're asking them to do. It even goes into how the proposer will be scored when they submit a proposal. So that's what this document is. It's ready to be sent out. I've got a due date that's been updated, that's on it, and that's August 29th. We could send it out tomorrow and have responses by August 29th.
Who do we send it to? All of them?
Well, that's a good question. It's, that I would recommend at least sending it to the 5 that are economic development firms that do this.
I echo, Mr. Crumpier's comments that I participated in 2 searches last time I was on the board. And Jorgensen does I think we look at a handful, but Jorgensen does do a really good job. My experience was that, if we look at these that specialize in economic development, they're focused on that talent pool and really understand the industry and where others on the other list probably really don't understand economic development.
Not necessarily.
And they know the people that aren't applying for jobs in economic development. They know the people that we probably might wanna look at that would not necessarily be on the market.
Yeah, I think on our city manager, we use that strategic government, SDR.
Yeah, they're more a municipal employee firm, but they do some economic development searches.
That's what I figured.
They are not the primary player in economic development.
Brian, what would you say, not you specifically, maybe just all of us as a board? Like I kind of subscribe to the philosophy of, hire the talent and teach the skill. So would a firm, one of these firms, if that's the world they play in or operate in, would we get a chance to see that, of those candidates that maybe aren't born and raised or?
Yeah, I can tell you what happened last time. We had a lot of different kind of candidates apply because it is, it's open.
Yeah.
For various applicants, but I can't speak to how they would, what sort of applicants they look at.
Okay, so you feel like we'd have the opportunity, some of those candidates are gonna show up.
On both searches that we did previously, we had candidates that weren't economic development.
There were some non-traditional
Yeah.
candidates.
I just think there's a lot of good examples of people that have come into new industries or new business organizations that have excelled just because they don't have some of those hardwired.
They're just dealing.
Preconceived notions.
Yeah. So that's my, as a board member considerations, I wanna keep eyes open for those types of people and conversations.
When I was reading through this yesterday, I did a ChatGPT search on, the basic question was, who would you recommend for a search firm to help with finding a president of the economic development president in Amarillo, Texas? I just typed it in. And a lot of these companies that came back that having at least ChatGPT saying they have economic development experience and these are the best ones, aren't on this list. I don't know if that's good or bad. done more research than Chad, that
I
I
did
did
not.
in the 30 seconds it took me to type that. But
Yeah,
a
we
lot of
didn't- we
those
didn't
are
look
there.
at Korn
Chad Ferry's there.
Korn Ferry is probably the biggest
Yeah.
search firm in the world.
Yeah. And I did another search on who are the biggest, and it was exactly who you had listed there. But that's what the AstroClear is for, but there's a few on here that I don't know if we wanna look at or not, but look at any of these others or not, but, you've probably done more research than me, but there's the list. Boyd Global Executive Search, Witt Kiefer, you heard of any of these? All being touted as having economic development. Expo, you know,
Right.
a lot of work in economic development. Anyway, interesting, just a thought.
Well, I mean, even outside the EDC, like you were saying, Charlie, if you could get a guy who's a big time deal maker that has a lot of ties to people that possibly bring in here, and that may never been an EDC guy, but he's just a deal maker.
I would suppose that, we're looking for an EDC leader, we need to think about, exactly what we're looking for in that leader. I think, it's important to have somebody that knows how to put a deal together. I agree, but I think that there's also, we talked about one of the strategic objectives is community development and marketing and some other areas that are contained in that strategic plan that, in my experience, sometimes a big deal maker, he's a really good deal maker, but he or she, I should say she also, but she might not have experience or expertise in those other areas that are also important to what I think we might look for is the CEO level person, the CEOs. Sometimes that's a big deal maker, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it should be said, or fair to say, that I don't really know what anyone's specific intent is here on staff currently. My opinion is like we have excellent operational ability, so you're right, that person either I think we need a deal maker, and I'm not saying nobody here isn't a deal maker, you see what I'm saying? And not being politically correct or sensitive, I don't know. But I think the organization, you don't have anything to organize unless it's all coming in the top of the funnel. So I just think it needs both people, Brian, to your point. I think we need to be sensitive and aiming towards that. We need operational excellence and we need sales excellence. I think that's achievable with what we have.
How important do you think economic development experience is in that role? Outside of, I think it needs both personally. I think it needs to be a good deal maker, but I think it needs to have somebody that's well connected. Kevin was very well connected. One thing he did great was he had relationships in every site selector, with every other economic development core. I think that's important, but you tell me, I've only been doing this 4 months.
Right, yeah, absolutely, it is important. Obviously, you'd like to have that person have everything.
Be the unicorn.
If we get to choose, let's choose the unicorn, right?
Well, we gotta ask, we just gotta, I don't wanna settle for anything less.
Yeah, but if we're gonna choose, let's choose the unicorn. But yes, so all of those things are important in my mind. Yeah.
Like Elliot said, on the operational side, we've got a great team put together right here. And you can either, I like your idea, And we're gonna have to tell this new guy what direction we want him to go to, Keep doing what we're doing, or we go after aerospace, there's, I don't know, a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I like the idea of sending this out to a bunch of people and seeing what we get out of it.
Yeah, you're right, Randy, thanks for keeping us on track, so we're kinda talking about things that really aren't, we need to provide some direction on who we're getting this RFP to. Some of of the details we're discussing, they're gonna ferret themselves out in that process, so.
Probably fair to say before we adopt this strategic plan, somebody probably ought to have to say so.
So are we here today to pick a search firm or pick the number one we want to send the RFP to?
Yeah, that's it. So the process is that there's an RFP that's ready to go. If y'all are ready to send it, I'm ready to send it out.
Is it on the pattern of RFPs we've done before?
Very simple. And if you want more time to look at it, that's great too. But who do we send it to is the other, thing. And so, we may have reporters that report on the fact that we're sending it out. We could get calls out of the blue of people who, want it and they'll get it. So just because we only send it out to whatever, 5 or 10 or however, whatever that number is, or whoever that is, we still could get calls and get other people to respond just because they've heard about it. So it's not a closed process, but y'all get to decide who it goes to initially.
Is it a consideration how many we send out, the kind of logistics and the time involved to review a lot of proposals?
Certainly it does. So we will get responses by, if we go up with this version, by August 29th. And, then y'all will get those to you, so that you can be reviewing them. So at the next meeting, we'll choose a firm, or we'll choose to have your top 2 firms come and make a presentation to y'all. So there is that option, or you can do it by Zoom or Teams or whatever. But there is the opportunity that it doesn't have to occur. Just from the proposal, you can ask them to make an oral presentation about their qualifications and then choose from a reduced number of firms that propose. So
there's like 19 or something, whatever there is on this list. We send it to all of them. We would have to go through all the results, I guess. That's gonna
many of these will not respond.
They will, okay.
Corn Ferry is not going to respond to this. This one.
Okay.
I mean,
How many are on your list that weren't on here?
Oh, the chat GPT gave me 5. Well, it gave me 2 different answers, actually. I did one at home. And it has these 5. I did it again right here.
It's about right.
Some of the same 5. So there's about 8 that it gave me in 2 different, maybe I worded it a little different at home or something.
If you wanna send us those, we can compare to this, to.
Yeah, I did, and none of the ones that it came, not the first time, none of them are on here.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean, I mean.
Well, if you wanted to send to a few of those, if they fit, if you gave us parameters, we could throw some of those in there and see.
We're all
if-
throwing our eggs in the chat GPT basket, so we might as well.
Well, it's free to send it to them, it's just your time reviewing and whether or not they respond.
Okay, I'll send you the list.
If we send them to like all 16 and only 7 of them respond, we're leaving the 7 guys. I mean, you think out of these 16 you have, half of them won't respond, or do you have a feel for that?
I think that's probably about right.
Is that overwhelming to get 8 responses?
No.
It's a fair question. That was my concern. I think it was Brian was saying as well.
I mean, it may
We
be
just don't have-
overwhelming for y'all, but it's not for us.
Well, no, I think we would like, for you to get them all, and then you recommend which 3 you want to talk to.
Well, that's ChatGPT can do it.
Upload their proposals.
And so it kind of takes me back a second. So this isn't like with the city, if you want to do some work for the city, they have RFPs. They publish an RFP and anybody can respond to it. That's not, this will be invitation, and then we may have some.
We'll have some that maybe have heard about it, that will ask for it, and we'll provide it to them. It's not a closed competition.
It just, we kind of take the decision out of our hand, we just made it an RFP, and then we're not inviting anybody who would respond, but that's a little risky too.
That's awfully risky.
All right.
Do you feel this is broad enough to handle the qualifications that we think we need for that job? Like what Elliot just kind of mentioned about having a deal now, right?
Yeah, there's actually,
Qualification, but
I wouldn't, I'm gonna be lying to you if I told you where it is, but there's a provision in here that, asks them to pontificate on their ability to attract, non-traditional candidates.
Okay.
Now,
So that's what they would refer to as non-traditional.
okay, so on page 3, number 2, we'll be asking this consultant to develop a candidate profile. And in the second sentence of that paragraph, the Amarillo EDC Board of Directors would like to solicit candidates both from the economic development industry and from other professions and industries. Please expand on your firm's capabilities and process for this aspect. So we're asking that question very directly, about non-traditional candidates.
Okay, that's good.
Thanks to former Chairman Fairfield.
are we ready for a motion?
Still bad discussion.
Do we have to make a number, or do we send it to everybody, or what are we motioning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good.
That is the question. That's the question we have for y'all. Is who do you want us to send it to? I'm happy to send it to everybody on the list. I'm also happy to send it to the 5 that are just
Are
economic
there
development
some that
focused.
in your experience, maybe in yours, Brian, that you would scratch off that list because of past experience? That you don't want
Well, yeah, so,
particularly to respond?
I mean, I don't have an issue with the company, they just don't play in the sandbox much, and that's strategic government resources. They do a little bit, but not much. As Holly noted when she did this research, the firm has a team of more than 60 professionals. The firm is responsible for a current job search of 31 executive level or division management position. None of these searches are for economic development positions. They just don't play in the sandbox much. They do some, but not much. But I don't have any problem sending it to them. They will respond likely. The ones that are tougher are the ones on pretty much the last page and then the bottom.
The Google's results.
Yeah, you know, Baker Tilly, they're a big player in it. Affion Public is a big player, but not necessarily in economic development. And then of course,
Tilly was hired by the city to do that charter review.
yeah, that's a pretty good sized conglomerate that dabbles in a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But searches is one of them. But like I said, Korn Ferry is probably the biggest in the world. And we send this, if I can find somebody to send it to at Korn Ferry, we're not gonna get a response, I can almost guarantee.
Is that the same with all those big 5s?
Right, yeah. That would be my expectation, is that there's very little chance that we'd get a response from them.
If you're in that business, why would you not respond to an RFP?
The money in government placement is not what these guys charge.
They're looking for the GM president.
Yeah, this is $1 million fee or $500,000 fee kind of deal, not a $60,000
We'll scratch
fee.
them off really quick.
Who's that? Which one was $1 million?
Like Korn Ferry.
All of those 5.
Oh, I see.
motion. I move that we send to that group that's been contacted before with the exception of the strategic government resources and then the Google search results but not the big five.
Okay.
Second that motion.
What about some of yours?
Well, I think I'll send, or Holly and I can talk about that and do some research on it, or
That's fine, I can include those in the Google search results.
Google search results.
So, based on your, how many are we sending it to? Did we get rid of,
That's 10.
strategic? You got Jorgensen, Next Move,
Yeah, it's 10 total.
and Softwell, Barnes. That's
Plus
a
maybe 6 of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll need to probably do more research than just
I'll
one chat
know, yeah.
GPT
Yeah.
search.
I'll look at the research behind it and where it pulled from,
Okay.
and find out.
I'll second Brian here. What do you think, Ellie? You like it? Or
Yeah, it is.
Are we casting a wide enough net?
Yeah, certainly, I think certainly that, and so the motion is we're approving to send out, the RFP, I would say 10 to 15 search firms that we have in front of us, the list. That leaves it open, that gets the 10 that we have here, and then maybe the others that come through.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
And so, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Randy seconded.
Yes, we need a second.
Got it.
Agenda item number 11, the quarterly investment report.
And they did not stay for me to be able to give them my version of it. Okay. Yeah. So this is for the quarter ending, March 31st. So on the second page of that, you can look at, the investments that we have. And you can see that, 49 million of it was in, Fidelity Investments. That's their money market. But of the Cedars that we have, 429 is the lowest return, and the highest return is 534. So it goes from 429 to 534. The reality is that today we make an investment in Cedars, and we're looking at 4.2, and it's going south pretty quickly over the course of this year. It's going to continue to erode. The yields are going to continue to erode. So that's why in our budget I had predicted a much lower number than what we received last year. But currently, our returns range from 429 to 5.1, 5.34.
What do you see in those percentages? Are they on?
Yes, sir. In the fund description, which is the second column, you can see that Cedars, and then the return yield is the first number, and then the maturity is the second number.
Gotcha. And you said Fidelity was what?
Fidelity, that's their money market. So Fidelity's money market is it actually pays pretty good. I think the last time I was told it was above 4. Right now I think it's about 3.8, 3.75. So for a money market account, it pays pretty well. But we also, this does not include the new investment policy that was approved by City Council last month. And so we are going to be able to reach out and get some terms that are at least a couple of years, up to 5 years of maturity, that will allow us to kind of balance out what our return profile looks like. Because right now, all of our maturities are 180 days or less.
And That's on the city.
That's on all of it, yes, all of it. Because that's the policy that the city was requiring us to live by previously. So now we're on the same investment policy as the city of Amarillo.
There's a lot of this $87 million that's sitting here making decent money, accounted for in commitments we've made already. It's a lot of this committed.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So if we could ever get financials from the city, it'd be helpful, so that I can explain all that to y'all. But basically, we have commitments, outstanding commitments on things that on deals we've done that have been approved that are out there.
Right.
And those are in excess of $100 million. Okay?
Okay.
So, the good news is that we have $27 million worth of income projected for this coming year, and we won't spend all of it. And so, we do have a little debt service. That service rolls off in 27 and in 30.
Some of that 26, 23 million or whatever we're spending is part of the commitment you're talking about here, or no?
No, this is just cash on hand. We have this commitment, so you take your cash on hand and you can pay your commitment with that. Luckily enough, we've been able to pay our commitments out of cash flow.
That's what I mean.
That's
We're
why
paying
our
out of cash flow.
Our balance has grown dramatically over the last 10 years.
If every note was called and we had to fulfill every commitment, it's $100 million.
That's right.
But
If everybody performed to the max.
we're
We'll
gonna pay
over.
a certain number of that out of the revenue we're getting this year.
That's right.
So
And
we're covered on our commitments of $100 million.
That's right.
This in 2025.
Yes, we're proposing in this budget to put almost $3 million into our fund balance.
And then there's the other side of that, you know, when we first developed this economic development report 20 whatever years ago, the intent is to use those funds to drive economic development.
And
I love the fact that we have $87 million sitting here, but if we're not driving economic development with it and just making 4%, that's not doing us any good either. So
Yeah.
I was trying to, at some point, I'd like to really understand that. Maybe that's just me and you, or
Sure.
maybe it's all of us.
You definitely have to keep deals in the pipe.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's no question about it, and there are expenditures that we make on a semi-regular basis that is looking down the road and what are we gonna do for industrial development 10 years from now? What are we gonna do in 20 years from now? 18 months ago, we bought 1,325 acres of land that is now annexed into the city, because we've got to have places to put people. And those industrial clients, those have to be shovel-ready sites. We have to spend money putting in rail spurs, putting in streets, sewer, water, or somebody does. If we don't do it, then it's not a shovel-ready site, and it's harder to attract somebody. So we make strategic investments along those lines every year. And we're always looking into the crystal ball to see where can we develop next.
That probably should be.
It's part of
Part of
one
that
of,
plan right
it's
there.
one of the strategic recommendations. He recommends a property that we attempted to buy about 3 years ago. And we'll make another run at it. I think y'all would love to have it, and so we're already in conversation with that.
Can you say who it is?
Yes, Amarillo College's East Campus. They need to keep a piece of it, for sure. They have some nice classroom space, they have a few programs that will continue to need to thrive out there. But there's a bunch of that area that could be developed. And they're the old air base.
That ties in really nicely to his comment about the trade school aspect of it too, with AC specifically.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
Well, that's good. So
I don't want you to think that, we've been sitting around
Oh,
here
I didn't-
putting
oh,
money in the
I
bank.
didn't think that's what I was saying, I was looking at this with 50,000 foot is how much, I don't want a lot of money sitting there just collecting interest, I love that,
Yeah.
but we've gotta do something to put it to work,
Yeah.
to drive the economy, which y'all are
Absolutely.
doing, I'm not saying that, I'm just trying to understand how much money do we really have
Yeah.
to play with right now.
Yeah, and a good rough estimate is about half that.
Now, can you speak to that, producer, that big deal that's going on, that permit, or the building permit for 253 million? Is that deal on again, or?
It is actually, in our last conversation with, staff at POV, they described where they are currently. There is work being done on site currently. We were told they expect to go vertical with construction in September.
So they got their money, they're all lined up?
Apparently enough to move forward.
So recently I drive from Dallas to back Amarillo. I see 3-phase line. They excel the power poles.
Oh, yeah, they're putting that line
And
in
they
there.
put the water tank on the job site.
Yeah.
Hit the water tank
I
outside.
just sent pictures of it the other day.
Yeah.
So, things are happening, thankfully.
That's good.
So we just looking at this today, we're gonna just,
Yeah, this is just for y'all's information.
okay.
What was the gentleman's name that asked for that?
Vincent,
Kim's,
Mr. Vincent.
yeah, Vincent's son, what's his name, first name?
Tim Benson.
Tim.
Tim.
His wife's Kim.
Tim, and
Right,
Kim.
that's what confused me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
all right, anything else on item 11?
No, sir.
The investment report, okay. Number 12, staff operational and financial updates.
Okay, y'all are worn out by now, so we're gonna keep this exceptionally brief. Sales tax collections in August were very good, 2.02% higher than they were in August of last year. For the year, our collected amount is 2.32% higher than it was last year. So sales tax growth is still very good. On the next page, that's kind of in green, it ranks us about our payment, this period. And so you can see that this 2.02%, is not on the high end, it's not really on the low end, it's kind of in the middle. And that tends to be where Amarillo typically is pretty steady. The next page shows for the whole year, it's 2.53. Yep.
I'm sorry, Bob, on that, so that chart, it's ranking by,
The percentage change,
Percentage.
yes, percentage change. So you see Plano was up 29% in their sales tax. That means that there was an audit done and there was a big payer that ended up paying in that period. And that happens, I mean, it actually happens pretty regularly. But Irving and Plano, that's what happened in those two cases. It was not a customer-based increase in sales tax. It was an audit that required some taxpayer to pay a big chunk.
Big jump, yeah.
it'd be a month-long fair to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's all I have, unless somebody's got some questions.
Nothing there? So the next item is our next board meeting. And the choices, or the first choices are September 17th at 2 or September,
Actually, 16th at 2. 16th at 2 is the first choice.
September 16th at 2, and then 17th. Gotcha. Have your calendars.
I could do the 16th at 2.
What is the zone you asking about?
What's the 17th time?
And 2
They're
also.
all at 2 o'clock.
We'll get in trouble again.
So the 16th or 17th at 2 o'clock, is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, we could do the 15th at 9 AM, but Monday morning meetings are tough, for us. Okay, perfect. Scratch.
I'm good on the
15th.
16th or the 17th, okay?
The sixteenth would be best for me. I'm out of town.
You're all right?
16th?
Deepak, 16th?
Let's do the 16th at 2 o'clock.
Great.
Okay. Perfect.
Alright. So our meeting is adjourned at 4:30, can I call it 4:30?
4:28, that's the longest meeting. I apologize. I promise that not all of our meetings will be that long.